Alrighty, hello everybody. Thanks for joining us live. I am 30 weeks pregnant and oh my gosh, the baby feels humongous and huge. But we're gonna tackle through this live. I don't think I'm talking loud enough. Sorry. Hi. It's okay, no one's joined yet. So it's fine. Alrighty, so today we are going to be talking about Royal Caribbean Cruise versus Disney Cruise Line and kind of which one is best for you and your family. We have done both officially.
7:28. Good evening.
Oopsies. We have done both. So we did a Disney cruise maybe a year and a half ago, and then we did a Royal Caribbean cruise about 6 months ago. So with all of that, what did we learn? Which one do we think is better for families? Which one's better for our family? That sort of thing. That's what we're gonna be talking through tonight. Obviously, let me know what you think in the comments. We'll have a live commentary, I guess. So I'll try and talk through the comments sort of as they come in. So let's first get into overall what we did, because it is a little bit different. Not necessarily comparing apples to apples. It feels like I'm still comparing apples and oranges here with Royal versus Disney. So we did a 4-night cruise on the Disney Fantasy, which is one of their middle newer ships. So you have the first class, the second class, and then the third class, which is the Wish, the Destiny, and all of that. So we did the middle class, which was, so we did the Fantasy. I did the Disney Fantasy for very specific reasons. I thought about this heavily, okay? So we did it because I wanted to do the water slide on that second tier class. Is the one that I wanted. I think it's called the Aqua Duct versus the Aqua Mouse. Very specific. I wanted that. I also liked the restaurants better on the Fantasy than I did on the Wish class. I think at the time the Wish had just come out. So anyway, we did a 4-night cruise on the Disney Fantasy. And then with Royal Caribbean, we did a 7-night cruise on the newest ship, the biggest one, the Icon of the Seas at the time. There's now the Icon of the Seas and the Star. They're technically the exact same ship, as far as I know. So we did. So yeah, so kind of comparing apples and oranges here with Disney Fantasy versus the Royal Caribbean, the biggest, the best ship that they have. But I am comparing the best of Royal with Disney, which you could argue that all of the Disney ships are the best. It just depends. As far as price goes, Disney's about, I'm going to say 60% more expensive. Our 4-night cruise on the Fantasy was the exact same price as our 7-night cruise on Royal. So I think whenever it came out to it, it was about 60% more expensive. And that's just total ticket price. That's not including all of the additionals that you'll pay for both, quite frankly. There is a big debate I get probably the Disney community more, saying that Disney includes more in their price, and with Royal, you pay for additional things as you go. I don't think that is entirely true. I've got a whole video that I filmed, I researched, I have to edit it and all that fun stuff, on the total cost between Royal and Disney, because I don't think you're still paying a premium for Disney at the end of the day. And at some point you just need to accept that. Is it worth it? Depends on you. I kind of thought that it was worth it. So it just depends on you. We don't need to justify the cost of a Disney cruise. That is, at the end of the day, the whole point of that video. So anyway, one of the things, let's see, I kind of talked about the cost. There are a couple, let's talk about food, okay? Because food kind of goes into the cost when you're talking about Disney versus Royal. Food-wise, I was actually kind of underwhelmed at the time with the food on Disney, the availability of food on the Disney cruise line. The food that they have, fantastic. So good. I loved it. I still think about that food, okay? Churro Mickey waffles are the best thing since sliced bread. However, I had a hard time finding food. The buffet is not open as often as I would have liked for it to be open, which is ultimately why we decided to cruise our second time with Royal, because it seemed like there was just a plethora of places to eat. Everything was always open. There was little quick service stands here and there. Um, there was an abundance of food on Royal, where on Disney, I wanted the food, but I couldn't always find it. There's like one place that's free slash like it's included in your price that is like open full time. And it's like crappy pizza and crappy salad. So like, meh, I don't know. The buffet, so comparing the buffet on Disney versus Royal, the Royal Caribbean one has a lot of food. It's very, very big. It's probably like 3 times as big as Disney. It's got a little bit of everything. They rotate through their different themings. It's done very, very well. It's not as good of food. The food on Disney Cruise Line at the buffets, so good. So good. I was so impressed. Again, I still think about it to this day. My only complaint with the buffet on Disney Cruise Line is that it's not always open. Breakfast was a good time. Lunch, I remember lunch being between like 11 and 1, which for me was right in the middle of like lunchtime, and then my kid had to like go down right away to take her nap. So for me, that lunchtime, I needed lunch to like end at 3 p.m. That would have been so much better. And then I would have loved an opportunity to eat dinner in the buffet. Because again, sometimes you're just not always feeling going to the big show, the sit down dinner, stuff like that. I understand why they do it, right? They do it to force you to get out, to force you to do stuff, and to force you to like try all of the different restaurants. I understand it. It's a choice that they're making, okay? Me, I'm like, but I don't feel like going there tonight. I want to pick. So that's a personal preference of mine. I wish that the buffet on Disney was open during dinner. That being said, a little bit of a hypocritical of me, but we did almost every single night of our 7-night cruise on Royal at the buffet. It gets bored. It gets old pretty quickly. So maybe if I went on a Disney cruise now after going on Royal, I might appreciate the rotational dining a little bit more. The first time I went, I didn't love it. I loved parts of it, but not the whole thing. Again, the actual food on Disney Cruise Line, I think was way better than Royal. Royal has a plethora of options, and it's all fine. It's all okay. It's all good. But Disney, I got excited for the food, not necessarily on Royal. So that's that. That is the buffet part of it, okay? The dining part of it, you still have your dining room on Royal, but it's not a show, right? Disney Cruise Line does their whole show, their theming and stuff like that. And I will say, again, we had a 2-year-old at the time, and I hated how long the dinners were. Dinners took an hour and a half minimum. I've seen a lot of comments since then saying that you can ask for a rushed service and that they'll give it to you and then it's less than 1 hour. I tried that on Royal and that did not work. I'm calling BS on that. I'm sure that it does work. But anyway, every single time I sat down and I ate on a cruise ship, it took more than an hour and a half. So again, that's why I prefer the buffet, because sometimes I just want to sit and eat my food and probably go to sleep because I'm tired. Same with my kiddo. Or go to like one of the shows or something like that. So that seemed to be like a common issue with cruising, is that I couldn't ever, I don't know, we're Americans. We like our 1-hour dinners max. These 1.5-hour long dinners I can't stand. And so, yeah, with Disney, I've heard people rant and rave that they have asked for a rush service and that they've gotten it. I'm not buying it. It hasn't happened to me yet. I haven't successfully gotten a rushed service. Okay, I digress. Let's talk about sodas, because one of the huge things, one of the huge people who love Disney Cruise Lines, one of the ways that they justify their cost, is that Disney gives free sodas, where I said almost every, I think it is. It's every other cruise line charges for a soda, a package. So you get unlimited soda for this number of nights, for this number of people, whatever. A way to charge you extra. However, let's actually get into what you are paying for. With Disney, their free soda is like Sprite, Coke, lemonade, maybe a Diet Coke. You're real, like, those are your 4 options that you're getting, and that's kind of it. On Royal, yes, you pay for it, but you know, like those big Coca-Cola machines where it has every single flavor of everything under the sun. It's got rainbow cherry Coke, it's got strawberry Coke, it's got everything. That's what you're paying for. So I think it's worth it what you're paying for. I'm not a soda drinker, so either way, this is a total wash for me. But that means I'm completely unbiased. It seems like you're very, very limited in your options that you're getting with Disney, versus Royal gives you a crap ton of options. Are you paying for those? Yeah, it's like $20 a day. So to each their own. One thing that I really, really valued on Royal was that they had free juice, like good juice, like apple juice and orange juice and lemonade, and there was another one, maybe like a raspberry juice or something. Anyway, they had a bunch of different juices, and they were all for free, right? Like they're included. But they're all with like the water stations and all that fun stuff. So for me, the fact that Royal Caribbean gives me free juice, that to me is better than a soda package, but that's just me and my own personal preferences over here. So anyway, I was not super, as someone who doesn't drink soda, I was not super impressed with the included soda options on the Disney Cruise Lines. I just didn't think it was worth it. Let's also talk room service. Again, this is something that Disney Cruise Line people rave about, is that Disney Cruise Line gives free room service. Yes, they do. It's not required that you tip, but obviously you're probably going to. With Royal Caribbean, it's like an $8 service charge. So like the food itself is free, and then you're essentially just paying to have someone deliver it to your door. That's the exact same flippin' thing as a tip, in my mind. In my mind, a service fee and a tip are the exact same thing. So in my mind, Royal Caribbean is free room service. We can debate that all we want to, but for me and my wallet, those are the same thing. Both, I think I got room service on the Disney Cruise Line. Obviously, I got the chicken nuggets, or the chicken strips, because they are very good. I don't think I got room service on Royal Caribbean. And then I think on Disney also, we had one day, we had really, really bad weather on our Disney cruise also. So there was one night where it was so rockety, my kiddo was throwing up. So she skipped dinner, and so we ordered room service. So we ordered like a meal, not like a late night snack. And we weren't that impressed. So I don't know. Maybe if you're ordering like a late night snack on Disney, it's way better, but it was just room service. It was fine, I guess. So anyway, room service completely free on Disney, except you'll probably give a tip. Royal Caribbean, essentially your tip is already included in the price of it. So essentially free, you're paying the same amount, in my humble opinion. Now, soft serve ice cream. Again, Disney people rave about it because Disney has free soft serve ice cream. So does Royal. And since Royal, well, at least for the icon of the ship, the Icon of the Seas that we went on, there was more stations for ice cream because it's such a big ship, versus Disney Cruise Line only had one station for ice cream. I don't know, but each had chocolate, vanilla, and then a swirl. So I don't know, same thing in my mind. Okay, let's talk about food on the private islands. This is our last food category, I promise. Food on the private islands. Royal Caribbean, trash. Awful. The food is not good on Coco Cay. I'm so sorry. It's like hot dogs and tacos. It's normal like barbecue food, very, very standard, hamburgers. It is all sitting out in a way that feels gross. Disney seems like they covered their food better. I don't know how to explain it. Very, very bland food, sitting out all day. I was not impressed with the food at Coco Cay. Coco Cay Island, loved it. The food, not good. Then on our Disney cruise, we did Lighthouse Point, and we were supposed to go to Castaway Cay, but it was so windy, like we couldn't dock. I was trying to figure out how to say that. So I've only been to Lighthouse Point. The food there, amazing. Again, something that I still think about to this day is how good the food was at Lighthouse Point. So, and it was just like a combination of really good like Caribbean food, probably. Chef's kiss, so good. I've heard that Lighthouse Point has better food than I'm gonna say Coco Cay, but that's not right. Castaway Cay. But I don't know. I have to go on another Disney cruise because I never got to go to Castaway Cay. Next on my list is souvenirs. Look. Disney knows how to do souvenirs. Disney knows how to do their merch for their cruise lines. It's amazing. It's really cool. It makes you want to buy everything. Royal Caribbean, not so much. They stick a crown and an anchor, their crown and anchor symbol, whatever it is. They'll stick that on anything. And so much less impressed with that. The merch on a Disney cruise line, top notch. If you want to go shopping, way better. I don't understand the jewelry purchasing on cruises. It is apparently a huge thing. It's a huge community. I don't understand the duty free because I'm saving like maybe 10% tax, which is like whenever you're actually calculating it out with like how expensive jewelry is, you're like, I'm maybe saving $100 here and there after I spend $1,000. I don't get it. Okay. Royal Caribbean really harps in on there's jewelry stations everywhere. Good for them. So if you want to buy, I guess like discounted jewelry that kind of feel like, okay, for example, we went into the jewelry store just because there was a huge long line and I was like, what's going on over here? What's the whole hype? And so then I get in there and I'm like, oh, I'm looking at, a bracelet, whatever. It's $400, let's say. Then the guy comes over and he's like, yeah, let me just take off like 45% of that. And then here's, a $200 gift card for just walking into the store. And for me, that makes that item feel so cheap because you've discounted it a bunch of times to where I wasn't a fan. I didn't end up leaving with anything, and I'm a jewelry person. So I don't like the sales aspect of the jewelry stores on Royal Caribbean. I think that they're the same, kind of going across the board. Disney Cruise Line, I mean, I'm sorry, but if it's a diamond in the shape of Mickey Mouse, that makes it 10 times cuter. So the Disney Cruise Line did have like Disney themed specific jewelry, which was really cute and fun, and they don't discount it. They're just like, the price is the price, get over it. I don't know, that sales tactic works on me. So I preferred the jewelry better. So again, souvenirs on Disney Cruise Line, top notch. 10 out of 10. I love it. I love how it works and all that fun stuff. Now let's talk about pools, water slides, stuff like that. Because Royal Caribbean, on their newest class of ships, their whole thing is like, hey, we've got a water park. We've got a water park. We've got the largest water slides at sea, whatever. So we were there for, again, 7 days. The water slides were closed the entire time. Running, like the water was running on the slides. Nobody could ever go down it. Nobody could ride them. There was nobody there working them. They were all closed off. No one ever knew why. And I was on like a Reddit thread, and everyone's like, yeah, we noticed the same thing on our sailing that was 3 weeks ago. So it's like, why is the water park never open? And I was a little bit like, again, at the time that we went, I was 11 weeks pregnant. So I wasn't going to go on the water slides anyway. I wanted to. I thought about it, but I wasn't going to. But if I like went on a cruise with teenagers and the whole point was to go on these water slides, I would be livid. I would be livid with Royal. Never found out why they were closed. Everyone online is speculating different things, but what the heck? Now with Disney, we had, again, they just have the one that like goes like around the boat. It's pretty cute. It's cool. But that would be closed. That was actually closed a lot. It was closed probably like 60% of the time, but we had really high wind. So like it made sense why it was closed. I'm okay with that. You have a reason for it. It's all right. So anyway, as far as water slides go, I'm sorry, Royal Caribbean doesn't have any if they're not open. I don't know. I still don't know what's going on with that, but I stopped researching it after a while. So now let's just get into the pool. Let's talk about like the kid areas. So Royal Caribbean, the icon of the seas that we went on, has a whole neighborhood section dedicated to kids. It's really, really cool. It has a huge splash pad area. It's got the bucket thing that fills up and then like it throws water at you. It looks pretty cool. It has a couple of like little kiddie slides. They were cute. My kiddo liked them. Okay, I'm just gonna talk about in terms of my kiddo. I saw this area and I was like, oh my gosh, this is the coolest thing. They've got a carousel. The carousel is free, by the way. So cool. They've got a huge candy store that cost extra, and the arcade that cost extra too. But again, I'm like, this place is so cool. My kid's gonna be obsessed. We're just gonna live here. No, she wasn't as obsessed with it. I don't know. I don't know why. And so she was 3.5 when we took that cruise. And whenever she was 2, she did the Finding Nemo splash pad on the Disney cruise line. Absolutely obsessed with it. We could not get her to leave. And again, like as an adult, you're kind of like walking through it and you're like, this is it. This is all that they have for kids. Not kids, but I think that was a diaper one too. So your kiddo, this was the one area where your kiddo could be in the swim diapers, because those typically are not allowed in the pools because it still lets out pee and all. Your kids need to be potty trained in order to get on a pool on the cruise ship still for the most part. So this was one of the areas where the kiddos could have a diaper on, essentially. And my kiddo lived here and like loved it and was obsessed with it. Still talks about going back to it. So like the joy is still there. I don't know if 1.5 years makes a huge difference as far as what they like. But yeah, for whatever reason, my kiddo liked the Royal, what was it called? The neighborhood. It's not going to come to me. Anyway, my kiddo did not like the huge area that was dedicated to kids on Royal. Absolutely obsessed with the tiny little Finding Nemo splash pad that Disney had. Again, still talks about it to this day. Sorry, my kiddo's kicking my belly button. It really hurts. So anyway, so that's kind of my thoughts on the pools for kids specifically. For adults, Royal Caribbeans are better. Royal Caribbean has a lot more pools. They also have a bunch of like the swim up pools, so like you can order a drink at the bar and drink it in the pool. I don't know. Disney just doesn't have that. The Disney adults only areas are kind of nice. Depends on the day. I had days where I liked it, and I had days where I was like, this is kind of trashy. So it just depends on your cruise. It depends on who's on your cruise. Royal Caribbean just always kind of seems like a good time. They have a lot more pool options, obviously. So I think that that's kind of to each their own. Okay, let's talk about something else now. Sail away and what's it called? The security thing that you have to do at the beginning of every single cruise. So Disney does a sail away party. Royal Caribbean technically does a sail away party as well. It's nowhere near as cool and as cute. Again, on our Disney cruise, we had really, really bad weather. The sail away party got rained out, and it had to be inside in the veranda. They should have just canceled it. It was way less magical than being inside. I was not impressed. But on a good day, if you're able to see it outside in all of its glory, that is a really, really cool sail away party. Royal Caribbean doesn't do that. They do like a little stage where they try and like hype people up and get them to dance. But no. Disney also, people give Disney a lot of crap, the Disney Cruise Line specifically, for how they do their like little security training at the beginning of your cruise. They do it pretty old school. You have to physically go to the location. They show you like how to put on the life vest and all of that. Royal Caribbean does it all digitally. So you watch a video on your phone, and then you have to like go and like check in somewhere. It takes all of 3 seconds, maybe. Disney takes a good 15-20 minutes. However, it is a maritime requirement. I don't know what the right word is. It is a port sea cruise requirement, like a federal requirement, that 100% of the people on your cruise ship do that safety training. So Disney gets all of theirs done at one time. They can meet their sail away time, right? On Royal, we were waiting like an hour and a half for 6 or 7 people that still need to go and do it. So with Disney, they're able to get their timing spot on, like a German train station. Royal Caribbean is just kind of like, yeah, we'll leave when we leave. It's fine. Everyone will end up taking it. Don't worry about it. We'll leave when we leave. Disney's like, we're leaving at 3:30 on the dot. Everybody get in line. So as someone who likes to plan and not wait around for other people, I actually kind of like the way that Disney does it more. Again, to each their own. Yeah, sail away party and the muster drill. I had it on my notes. So anyway, okay, now customer service. These are in just like random order of like what I thought about, the topics that I thought about. Overall customer service, I thought was fine on both ships. On Disney, I didn't feel like royalty. I don't know. Everything felt totally, I don't know. I have absolutely no preference at all on the customer service for Disney versus Royal. They were both fantastic and both great. I don't know. I don't have anything to say about that, actually. Got nothing for it. Okay, let's talk about Private Island. So we did Coco Cay, which is Royal, and then we did Lighthouse Point, which is the Disney one. I really want to go to Castaway Cay, which is the first one for Disney. But we couldn't go because it was rained out and wind and all that fun stuff. So we just did Lighthouse Point, which at the time was new. This was a year and a half ago, so it had just opened. One of Disney's, sayings is that they care so much about the guest experience. Horse shit. BS. If you are having people do a half a mile walk, is it a quarter mile? It's either a quarter mile or a half mile. I forget nowadays. It's a quarter mile walk in the blazing sun, no shade, and then you get on a tram to go to the beach. Horrible. Awful. I don't know who approved that. I understand the reasoning why for it is to save the coral reef that's there and nature and the environment and all of that. Totally fine. That's fine. Disney cannot say that they care about the guest experience then. Because you don't. Because it takes 45 minutes to get from the boat to the actual beach. And again, we went on a cloudy, breezy day where it wasn't crazy, crazy hot. And it was still a lot. It was still a very, very, very long walk. So, Lighthouse Point, very, very nice once you get there. Again, the food is great. The beach was really, really nice. I liked the beach. They have a separate, like completely a nature walk sort of area that we didn't do last time because it was closed because there was too much wind. Again, I need to do another Disney cruise so I can get the full experience. I want to have a fun time on a Disney cruise, and so far I really didn't. I see everyone else doing it, and I'm just like, should I just watch YouTube videos and call it a day? My dog is chasing all the bunnies in our yard. Bless her. So that's kind of my 2 cents about the Disney private island of Lighthouse Point. It's nice. It's cool. I will say the kids' splash pad area wasn't good for my 2-year-old. Fine. On Castaway Key, no, they had it at Lighthouse Point too. Sorry. One thing that Disney does that's really, really cool, Royal does not do this, is they have a section, a gated area, splash pad for kids and toddlers. The caveat is that they need to be fully potty trained and like able to pull up and take off their swimsuit on their own whenever they use the bathroom. Makes sense. But they have areas where you can drop your kid off and your kiddo can play and you can go do your own thing. That sounds amazing. I do kind of wish that they had that at Royal. I feel like they totally could have that at Royal. Because yeah, Coco Cay is great, by the way. Coco Cay is the Royal Caribbean private island. I would take a weekend cruise there. It's amazing. The pool is amazing. The beaches are amazing. You can walk around. The shopping is really cute and good. The food's terrible. I loved Coco Cay. I would argue that Coco Cay is probably better than the Disney private islands. It's also a lot bigger, give or take. You also don't have, your Mickey Mouse running around, but I really liked Coco Cay. I was gonna say I prefer Coco Cay than the Disney private islands, but I would go back to both. I would go back and I would do both. I want to do the Disney ones more because I haven't had a good experience there and I want to. So, I don't know, that's my 2 cents there. But both of the private islands are great. The private islands are so good that when you have to go to like a port city, I'm like, I actually don't want to get off the ship at St. Thomas because no. The cruise ship private island is just better. So that's my opinion. That is the kind of traveler that I am, if you were ever curious about it. The kids areas, this is also why I want to do another Disney cruise. I think that a 2-year-old isn't a good age to go on a Disney cruise. Gonna get some flack for that, I know. And I'm saying that because they can't take advantage of the kids clubs. The kids clubs, I think, are ages like 3 to 12, something like that. And even at 3, I would argue that 6, 7, 10 is 6 through 10 is probably like your prime window for when kids are going to think that that is super, super cool and great and really take advantage of those kids clubs. Because my 2-year-old was not there yet. And the nursery is fine. It's literally just a place full of cribs. Like whenever they said like she qualifies for the nursery, I'm like, to do what? She's a 2-year-old. She's walking around and playing. Your nursery is literally a nursery. Like newborns were in there. Fresh newborns. Not really. I think the minimum is 6 months, but you get the gist. So anyway, the kids areas, I would argue, need to lay down. The kids areas, I would argue my kiddo needed to be a little bit older for it, which is why, I don't know. I think my next Disney cruise is going to be whenever this one is like 5, which is like in 5 years, and that kind of makes me sad. So, I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. The kids areas, I would argue that 2 years old is way too young to go to fully enjoy the kids club at a Disney cruise. Are they too young to go on a Disney cruise? No, that's to each their own, depends on the person, depends on your family. But to fully enjoy the kids areas, they gotta be a little bit older at the end of the day. Again, for Royal, I feel like I've talked about it. The kids, the areas where you drop your kids off and they play, looked totally fine. It looked cool. It was more of like a virtual experience on Royal, and it seemed really, really cool. Our kiddo did it the first night. We did like a nice dinner without her, and we picked her up. We asked if she had fun. She said yes, but she didn't want to go back. So I don't know, take that for what you will. My kiddo wasn't as impressed, so we'll see. My next thing on here is like the theming. Disney is very impressive, actually. Because again, we did our Disney cruise. We had some critiques, some things that we didn't love. And so then we were like, well, Royal looks really, really cool. Like, let's go and try that. And the theming is great. It all looks really, really cool. It's really, really cool. However, there's something to be said about the colors that Disney uses and how every single picture that you take is going to be vibrant. And I don't know if it's like the bold primary colors that are everywhere. It's all like blue, red, yellow, and white, and they just all pop. I don't know. Disney does a very traditional nautical sailory theming to where like it just feels really, really cool. Royal Caribbean is more of the bright neon colors, very Caribbean, very happy, very summertime happy. I prefer the Disney theming, actually. And like not including the fact that, Mickey Mouse heads are everywhere. Like if we're just talking like colors specifically, I can't even explain it, but the Disney Cruise Line does their colors really, really well. Like I'll go back and I'll like look at photos, and the photos are just more vibrant versus on Royal where they're a little bit more washed out. I assume it's just like the colors that are used. Anyway, I digress. There is a magic of Disney, and it's the colors that they use sometimes. So anyway, I personally like the more classic nautical theming on the Disney Cruise Line versus probably the more modern summertime colors, bright and in your face, that Royal does. To each their own. Doesn't actually matter. The entertainment. So Disney Cruise Line does Broadway style shows. They also do a dinner theater almost, to where every single dinner you go to a different restaurant and it's like a show. Royal Caribbean has their Broadway style shows as well. They had like the Wizard of Oz whenever we were there. They also do a water show. It's flippin' cool, y'all. It is so cool. The water show is amazing. I would go back for the water show. You'll spend the whole time being like, how are they doing this? This is so cool. Amazing, 10 out of 10, way cooler than anything that the Disney cruise line has. They also do an ice skating show. Less impressive. Still cool, right? I mean, these are still people that are on skates and ice on a rocking ship. It is very, very impressive. We went right after the Olympics. And so after seeing like the Olympic skaters and then seeing these skaters, I was like, oh, that's all we're doing. We're just doing like a triple axis, whatever. Psh, I could do that. No. Still way better than anything that I could have done, but I was way impressed with the water show on Royal. Way cooler than anything that the Disney people have. And then the ice skating show was just okay. It was fine. It was still really, really cool that they had it. And then as far as the Broadway style shows for both of them, they're amazing. They're both really, really cool. I wouldn't say that Disney's is any better than Royal's. Disney's is going to be like Beauty and the Beast or like, you know, a Disney show, versus Royal Caribbean. Again, at the time it was Wizard of Oz. So you've got to be into those things, I guess. I don't know. To each their own. Royal also and on the newer ships, Disney also has these, where they have like piano bars. And so I think that those are probably comparable apples and apples. But you have to go on one of the newer ships on Disney in order to get that level of entertainment. Oh, there's also a parade on Royal. Is it weird? Yeah. It's a weird parade. It's like if you were in like a history class and they said like, here's all of the different cultures that have ships. That's what the parade is. So you have like the American Revolution, which again, I guess was only fought on ships, which is what this stupid, it was a really, really dumb parade, but it was entertaining. My kiddo loved it because they threw out like the confetti afterwards. But yeah, there's like a Viking ship. Again, like an American Revolution ship. I don't know. There's like 5 different ships. And they all come by and they have a fight at some point. It's a stupid parade. It's a stupid parade. Will your kid love it? Yes. Is the story weird? Yeah. I don't know. But in my mind, I was like, this would be really, really cool if Disney did it. Disney could have done it better. We all know that. Let's see. What else can we talk about? Oh, the spa. So I'm a huge spa girly. I love a good spa. Kind of a snob when it comes to my spas. Hated both. So if you really, really like and appreciate a spa, you probably won't love a spa on a cruise ship. That's okay. You probably should have known that, let's be honest. Both massages were great. What I don't like, and this is universal across the entire board of cruise shipping, spas try and charge you stuff, or spas will try and sell you stuff. So at the end of your service, whatever you're getting, whether it's massage, facial, whatever, they then spend 15 minutes trying to sell you their products. And it's bloody annoying. And I hate it. And it totally takes away from the whole massage experience. That being said, Disney Cruise Line on their Wish class of ships, so like their newer classes of ships, do have really, really pretty rooms that you can like go and sit in their spas. They look really, really cool and really nice and relaxing. But for the most part, your spas on a cruise ship, they're not spas. Sorry, I hate to break it to you. And each one of them offered a rainforest room. So what a rainforest room is, when you say it out loud, it sounds more stupid, but it is a room with heated lounge beds. So far, cool. And then it's got 6 or so different scented showers, like showers, and then the water smells like something nice. And they charge for both cruises $99 for these spa passes for the entire length of your stay, or for like the length of your cruise. I've done both of them. I don't get the hype. It's a quiet area, I guess. I don't get the hype. I don't get it. So, anyway, the spas on a cruise ship should never be your selling point. They both suck, if we're just being blatantly honest. Let's talk really quickly about cabins, because again, I'm thinking about the stuff that like Disney Cruise Line people obsess over and they're so excited for, and I'm just like, but do you actually need that? Like your soda packages? Some say yes, and that's okay. If that's important to you, then that's important to you. The bathroom. So in your cabin on a Disney cruise line ship, the toilet is separate from the shower portion, which people rant and rave about. I don't get it. It's fine. I don't care. I'm not in a room with like 5 different teenage boys who spend hours in on the toilet. I don't know. That's just what I'm thinking of. So anyway, I never thought that it was an issue. The bathtubs on the Disney cruise lines is a really, really good feature and option. After using it with my 2-year-old, I hated it, and I preferred just using a shower. So, to each their own on that point. That is not a selling point on Disney Cruise Line, for me at least. Other than that, cabins were fine. Disney does like a dividing curtain through theirs, which is actually really, really nice, because it allows you to have your kiddos sleeping, taking their nap, and then the adults can have the TV on, the light on, whatever, on the other side of the curtain. So that I do wish that Royal would have had. Other than that, they were all relatively fine. The apps. Let's talk about the apps. Disney Cruise Line's app, far superior than Royal's. They're both free. They come with whatever. They come with it. And they both give a decent itinerary for what's happening that day. Royal Caribbean, you have to seriously search for. You have to really, really know what you're looking for, and know how to get there, or else you're just like clicking around everywhere. Disney's is great. It is user friendly. It is cute. It's got the Disney theming in it. It works way, 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 way better. Also the text messaging portion. So you can either get like a Wi-Fi package to where you can actually text on your phone like you normally would, or you can do the texting through the app. Royal Caribbean's texting through the app, kind of spotty, kind of sucks, depends on the day if it feels like working. Disney Cruise Line worked great every single time. So I would argue that the Disney app, way better than the Royal app. That's all my points, you guys. That's all I had to talk about. Now, overall, right, which one would I book again? This is all kind of coming from 2 people that are like, we can do a break of cruising for a couple years. I still really like the idea of cruising, but I can make a whole video on like why cruising probably is not for me. Tune in next week. That being said, I want to do another Disney cruise because I want to do it right, almost. I want to do it whenever my kids are a little bit older. I want to go on the newest and greatest ship. 4 nights, way too short. 7 nights, way too long. 5 and 6 is kind of that happy medium that I found. At least that's what works for us. And I really want to go to Castaway Cay. And I really want to go to Lighthouse Point without my weather being bad and it raining the whole time. So That sounds like, I'm not going to argue with it. It sounds like I just want to go on my Disney one because a Disney cruise line sucked the first time and I want to have a good experience on it. That might be true. But ultimately, we would go on a Disney cruise again. I don't think we would go on a Royal Caribbean cruise again. And I don't know why. My husband and I were talking about it probably like day 5. We were like, there's nothing wrong. Everything's great. But like, I don't want to do this again. But like, why isn't this a blast? Like, why isn't this way more fun than it should be? Versus on our Disney cruise. I don't know. Looking back on it again, it was hell because it was so windy and the weather was so bad constantly. But I go back and I like look at videos. I'm like, oh yeah, like that was fun. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to seriously convince my husband to go on another cruise because he's not there yet. I'm not there yet either. Like, I don't want to go anytime soon. But I think we would go on another Disney cruise versus Royal. I don't think that we would go on. I've also been on one other cruise whenever I was in high school. We did a princess cruise, but that wasn't Caribbean. It was the Alaskan fjords, which is magical and you should 100% do it before you do a Caribbean cruise. But maybe we'll do Alaska on a Disney cruise. I don't know. Probably not. I'd have to convince a lot of people to go do it. Anyway, we've got 5 years to plan it. So anyway, that's it. I hope that this video was helpful for people. I hope that you learned something. I hope you were able to like watch this and be like, oh, that would work for my family versus that wouldn't work for us. I'm glad someone finally said it because I think that the most annoying thing about Disney people, as I'm in my Disneyland shirt, I like Disney. I enjoy Disney. I understand the magic of Disney. It is not the end all be all, the greatest thing since sliced bread. It's got its pros and it's got its cons. We got to talk about them so that people don't end up spending a ridiculous amount of money on something that they don't like that I probably could have told you that you didn't like. So I digress. But anyway, hope that this was helpful for somebody. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. We are on our way to 4,000 watch hours, people. Bye. See you next time.